Welcome, Bills fans. Another edition of Bills Talk. Sorry for the last couple of weeks. The times just haven't worked out for us. But it's Monday after a tough, exciting, maybe heartbreaking loss for some of you Bills fans. Bengals 27, Bills 24. Exciting game nonetheless, but regardless, the Bills are 2-4 heading into next week. And if I could say a 2-4 team really exciting me, this is one team that it has. Welcome, Brandon, again. Another week, obviously, you're here. And, let's just get right to the chase. We were at the game yesterday, and, I think we can both agree that was one exciting game.
Yeah, it was. It was a very, it was exciting. I thought they were obviously going to come back, and they did. I think it was one of, probably like 10 people that thought that. This team doesn't quit, and I was very impressed with Thad Lewis. Just pinpoint at sometimes, very, at other times very inaccurate, but I was impressed.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely surpassed my expectations, and like you said, they don't quit. I've seen countless people saying, the usual Bills loss, and the usual Bills would have had that game done, and by the third quarter wrapped up, you could just seal it for the other team. And this team, especially against Carolina, the Patriots, and then yesterday's game, they just give you something that going into the fourth quarter down by 2 scores, and you are still excited, ready to see this team go and try to come back in. Unfortunately, it was a loss yesterday, and Brandon, could you tell us some pinpoint key plays that may have turned this around for the Bills and Bengals? Because as I think Marrone said it pretty great yesterday after post-game, he said, both teams made some mistakes. This game could have gone either way. So tell me what you thought were crucial moments.
I think it started, the goal line for the Bills. They ran it 3 straight, and then they did that kind of like play action rollout early. That was a touchdown. Those were 7 points right there. Like Nugent missing the field goal, I think really kickstarted it. Obviously with the defense coming up big in the second half, only let the 3 points, and then you have the 2 good throws by Lewis, the fourth down play to Chandler for the touchdown, and then the big 40-yard bomb to Goodwin. So yeah, those were, and then you can look at early in the first half where those screens that were well designed by Cincinnati that just went for chunks of yards. So, like Marrone said, it could have went both ways.
And that goal line stand, I heard it. I heard it last night from my family, and I just thought the Bengals at big times they had great play calling, which led to big plays. And especially that goal line stand, I just thought the play calling was just not well thought through. And, it kind of ended up as I thought it would with those play calls. But, anything could have happened in that game. I'm not hugely disappointed, but the Bengals came up with bigger plays yesterday, and, they came through. I want to know your opinion on an overtime. We're punting. Let's go before the punt. I just thought it was ridiculous that they are at the 6-yard line, and probably knowing that if you're punting from around there, it's most likely the Bengals are getting great field position, and they come out with 2 runs, and I just thought that was ridiculous to come out. I think throughout the whole second half, Thad Lewis, especially the last 2 drives, he was doing great throwing a ball. He was just getting chunks and chunks of yardage, and then they come out with 2 runs. I just thought that was ridiculous. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think they started off with a penalty, if I'm not mistaken, which set them back. I don't know. I totally forgot it was the game. I think it was Spiller at the time. Spiller had broken off a lot of those runs for first downs, gotten some big chunks earlier in the game. But yeah, I think they should have thrown it. I think they could have aired it out because the Bengals secondary was kind of getting exposed with those big plays, as I said earlier. So yeah, I think they're in that overtime. and that, the goal line, I think, are my only real questions about the play calling. Other than that, I mean, they scored 24 points against a defense that held Tom Brady, and the Patriots out of the end zone. So, you can flip flop on the play calling, but I was, okay. I'm okay to good.
And like I said before, I think it's hard to be disappointed with this loss. And we're 2-4 now, but this team is still such a young team. Are you disappointed? Are you kind of expecting more from this, or are you really content with what we have now and just waiting for the future?
Yeah, what you said, waiting for the future. To be 2-4 now, I think and all the games are close. I mean, they beat the champs. They came back against Carolina and, gave New England a run for their money, and Cleveland, Manuel goes out, and you have Jeff Toole. So yeah, like I said, I'm proud. There's definitely a lot of things to work on. That they're starting to finally get healthy. So now, the toughest part of their schedule is coming up. So now we'll see what they're made out
of. The defense yesterday, I thought first half, they disappointed me in the first half. I don't know about you, but that second half, I really hope that's like a flash forward of what's to come these next couple of weeks, because if that's so, I think we're going to be even more of a team to mess with, and that's saying with still some injuries. Spiller still a little shaken up, and I mean, you could still make the argument that Leotis and Stephon Gilmore is going to be still, probably not 100% yet. So I don't know. This team is giving me more hope than previous teams that were kind of in the same situation. But defense plays like that in the second half, and this is a team that you cannot look at the schedule and say, oh, it's the Bills. They just give me, like, yesterday was a perfect example. They make you believe, and at this point last year already, you could just see sort of a downfall, a team that was just kind of quitting, and especially against I think a really good team in Cincinnati. I think they're a really good team, and we battled through with them the whole time, and it kind of angers me when I see people the whole time saying, whatever, it's a loss. But I think you got to look positively on this loss. It's a loss obviously you can learn from, but there was just great signs through the thick and thin. I mean, it was just a great game nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely. Marrone is going to say, it's a loss, so... But, that's what he's supposed to say. He's a head coach. Yeah, I mean, this was a Super Bowl contender at the start of the year. Many people have picked them to win it all. So I think, with them going the way they did and the way they came back, I'm very, very not impressed, because I expected it, but it's a practice squad quarterback, and like I said, it's Miami's up next, so we'll see what happens. I would love them to get a road win. They haven't won on the road in a long time, so see if that can happen.
And I don't think I'd ever say it, but I really hope that fourth string quarterback can play. I think he will. Obviously, I don't think they said it wasn't that serious, but wow. Let's just talk a little bit more about Thad. I mean, that first drive was amazing to get the crowd pumped up, and then in the middle of the game, there was a little drought. Like you said before, his accuracy was really off target on, I wouldn't say most of his throws, but I want to say most of his throws. There was one point where he just kind of threw it and no one was looking. Everything seemed to be off with the offense. And then look what happens. They come back and he is throwing like he's started 10 years for the Patriots. I think it was, the last drive. He hits long third down. He hits Chandler in the pocket. He had time and waiting, patting the ball. Finds Chandler, great pass, and then obviously the Goodwin throw. And like you said yesterday, right after that play, he looks like a Russell Wilson, and I'm really excited to see him because, that was his first game with us. I'm really excited what he can see at Miami next week. Now, what are your expectations with him next week the same, or do you want a little more from him? I think the fumble really showed yesterday, keep the ball?
I think, I think the same because I don't know. I'm thinking of either going with my expectations or going along with his because he's fearless. He's a gamer. He says he prepares like he's a starter. When he was within the practice squad. Who knows? I mean, I think a little bit more because of what I've seen, but you can't go over the expectations. I hope fans don't do that.
Exactly.
So just if he does the same thing that he did in Miami, that he does against the Dolphins, then I think they pull out a win because I don't think the defense would be that bad in the first half. So yeah, I think a little bit more.
If he plays how he did yesterday, and I'm just gonna say that because if you minus that careless fumble almost, I'd say take away that play, and we could probably win that game. And if he plays like that, I think we can easily pull off a win, no doubt. He played a good game yesterday, and
don't forget. I don't think we haven't mentioned this as we were talking. I don't think anybody has mentioned this. Guess who was out yesterday? Stevie Johnson was out.
Yep.
He did that without Stevie Johnson, and I think with an extra week, I think he'll be ready to go. So Stevie Johnson rarely misses a game, let alone 2 in a row.
Yeah, and like you said yesterday, throughout the game, especially during the weaker parts, and when he started to gain up and started completing more and more passes in a row, you said he's doing this without Stevie Johnson, and I think that is a great point because that takes away a huge part of our passing game. It gives them less time to worry about someone, and he did a phenomenal job without him yesterday. And if Stevie can play Sunday, I think we have even more guns to show on our offense.
Absolutely, I'm confident. There's no doubt. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say they're going to win like I did last week, but as I go through and look at the Dolphins, I'll make it my points later on in the week.
And I said it yesterday during my pregame post, and we said it very early on this year. If every game is just a great game, that is just awesome. I want a team that every week I can root for, that they show effort and they don't give up. And that yesterday you just really put a pinpoint on that because again, great game, and just hoping for just a game where it's not over by the third quarter, unless it's, of course, the Bills leading. But, yeah, it's just all I can ask for. This year, wins aren't a huge thing for me. I don't care if they get 4 wins. I don't know 4 wins. As long if they play like that every game, I mean, obviously then you could say, oh, maybe they can't finish. But I mean, this is great signs for the future. Still early on in the season, though, so you never know what's going to happen. We could turn this around without EJ, and I'm really looking forward to see it. Any last thoughts?
I mean, they faced really good teams. I mean, Cincinnati, New England, Baltimore, I guess you can maybe put Carolina in there. Cleveland is no slouch. I don't think the Jets are either, but yeah, I mean, it's just progress and building blocks, and we'll see next week if they can take it to that next step of responding to a loss.
And you may hear this countless times again. There's a lot of parity in this league, and really the rest of the season is wide open for really any team. And even though we're 2-4, fourth in the AFC East, the season's still young, and with this young team, you look forward to the future, but also the season. So that's it for Bills Talk today. There was no pregame this week, so hopefully later on this week we can do a pregame for the Dolphins game. But solid game nonetheless, exciting, and I mean it is for our entertainment, and it definitely was. And that's all I have to say about this. Any last words?
Not really. Just check out our website, and we'll get you guys ready for Sunday's game in South Beach.
Thanks for all the support, everyone. Have a nice week, and hopefully the Bills can pull it out Sunday.